As a longtime fan of Studio Ghibli and a lover of fashion, I've naturally been paying attention to the Studio Ghibli Loewe collabs. And if you're anything like me, you've had your young brain chemistry altered by the movie Howl's Moving Castle.
That's my girl.
So I waited and I watched to see if there was anything in that drop that could be an investment piece for me, something that I just couldn't live without. That just was not the case. The prices were not it for the collab, but there was one specific piece from the collection that I fell in love with, the trinket covered wool coat that is supposed to emulate like Howl's trinket room, which is one of my favorite scenes and settings in the movie. When I saw that translated into a trinket covered coat, I had to have it. So I've decided to DIY my own version of the trinket coat. So this coat originally went for $8,400 during the initial collab. Now resale, I'm seeing it for $11,000, $12,000. And looking at photos of it now, the up close photos of the trinkets.
For my trinkets.
I think that I can make it better. Like, sorry, but the trinkets are giving Michaels. Not that that's a bad thing, but like, this is a $12,000 coat. So I got this coat. I thrifted it for $12 at 70% off. I've already gotten it dry cleaned. I don't usually dry clean my stuff, but I wanted to be careful with this. I didn't want to ruin it in the washing machine. And let's be honest, this thing is never going to get washed again. Figured might as well do it right the one time it's going to get washed. It took me a while to find the right coat. I'm picky when it comes to coats. I'm going to show you a few of the things that I really like about this jacket. One, I like that there's no shoulder pads. Pretty hard to find a jacket of this length without shoulder pads. I am not a big wearer of shoulder pads. No hate for shoulder pads over here. I just don't like them on me personally. Another thing was the overall shape of the coat. It had the right neckline, so checks in those columns in my book. And lastly is the color. It's a dark brown. I was looking for a color that would be pretty similar to the original coat. These are some of the trinkets and things that I've gathered to put on. These are pretty much all just like pieces of jewelry that I have either had in the past and, you know, have never worn or don't wear it anymore and have taken it apart to use for this project, or like just random little things that I've acquired from going to thrift stores and antique stores over the years. And I knew I was saving all of those little trinkets for a reason. And this is the perfect project to use them on. But first, we need to address something with the jacket. Okay, so the jacket itself is in great condition, but the lining is like slightly breaking on the inner shoulder, and then at the hem, it's come apart. So I'm just gonna repair those to start. All right, so here's the shoulder. Oh, I guess there are shoulder pads in here, but they're very small, so I'm okay with it. So it's just got some areas of breakage here. I've watched like it was one video to start, but I've watched a few videos now about the new Avatar: The Last Airbender show. I am an OG fan from my childhood, but my algorithm this is the only thing they're showing me anymore. Honestly, I don't mind it. My millennial ass is here living for the revitalization of this universe. Anyway. All right, so I finished the shoulder patch so far. Here's what it looks like up close. I did decide to put a patch in underneath it. First I stitched around, and then I just followed the grain up and down to make sure that this loose thread was just couched down so that it's not just loose. So that's it for tonight. All of the patches and things that I wanted to fix on the jacket are done. So tomorrow we can start on the fun part with the little trinkets. I did buy a few things, 2 different packs of little charms. Other than that, everything I've salvaged from my current jewelry collection. So I did want to keep this like as a really minimal spend on the project. For now, that's it. I'm signing off. It's like 10:30 and it's definitely bedtime. All right, so I've come to you in my jump scare goblin mode. It's a work night. I'm sick. I also threw out my back the other day. So we're in a very sensitive space right now. So updates for the project. I did get in the charms that I was waiting for. There are little feathers which I think is just so perfect for Howl. So I've got those. And then the other little charms that I purchased were these from Michael's. Right now I want to lay the coat down and plan out my gems and jewels and things on the coat to see how it'll look. All right, let's go do that. I'm liking the way it's looking. So I think with my initial arrangement of the trinkets on the jacket, it was a little bit too uniform. I looked again at the reference image and it was a little bit more scattered. So I tried to replicate that here. I did start sewing some of the charms onto the jacket yesterday, so I think I'm going to just continue sewing and I'm just gonna go charm by charm, see how it looks. So let's get to it. I started off by pinning my bigger charms so that they were spaced out well and to get a feel of how they'd all look on the coat together. Even though I want a ton of charms on this coat, I still want it to look balanced. Once I had a lot of charms in positions that I liked, I removed the pins and sewed them into place. And I went through this process several times of pinning charms, then sewing them down. Although the fabric of the coat that I went with for this project was different from what the original has, the plush actually ended up really working out in my favor because I didn't have to worry so much about the knots that I was making while I was sewing the charms onto the coat, since the plush hid that really well.
Six months later.
So I'm getting to those last stages of putting together my Howl's Moving Castle coat. I reached a point with adding my little beads and things where I thought that it wasn't quite finished, it's almost finished, just to really give it that kind of overwhelming trinket look. So I went to Michael's the other day and I picked up a few things. Let me show you. There was a 60% off sale on the bead section. So I got a few things. Here I got some, hold on. I got some feathers, some more feathers. These are larger than the ones that I ordered online previously. So I feel like you can't have enough feathers on a Howl coat. And I got these little moons. I think that they're just so sweet. I got these gold stars. I got 2 of these. I got some dragonflies. And then I got some more keys. So I'm gonna keep going for this organized chaos plus stirred look. Now that I'm watching this back, I do realize that my tag was out. Clearly I didn't at the time. As I was hand stitching every single one of these charms onto this coat, it gave me the time to remember where I got these charms from and reminded me a little bit of what point of my life I was at the time. Filling in the area around the shoulders with tiny beads definitely made the process take way longer, but I really like the effect it gives, and I think it was well worth the effort. Well, we're here for the final reveal. I will say that this has taken me a very long time to finish. I started this project when it was still cold enough to wear a jacket, and now it's like the end of summer. So I'm gonna try this jacket on, and hopefully I don't get heat stroke in the process. But I will say I underestimated how long it would take to apply 10 million tiny beads to a coat. I actually had a nightmare about this coat last night, that when I put it on, you couldn't see any of the charms on the arms. So I'm glad to see that that's not the case. I also underestimated the weight of what 10 million charms will do. This is definitely, the coat is very heavy. Also for the design, I went with leaving the back completely free of charms just because I've got really long hair and I really don't like fussy things when I'm wearing them. So if I were to wear this jacket somewhere and sit down on like a car seat and get stuck to something, I would just simply freak out. So I left it kind of free on the, charm free on the back for my own sanity. I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. I reminisced going through some old charms and things. I'm gonna take this off before I pass out. I'm looking forward to wearing the jacket. I already have an idea of where I'll wear it once, you know, the season comes for it. It's not a one-for-one dupe for the Loewe jacket, which isn't really what I was going for anyway, so I'm okay with that. I think it's more personalized the way that it is. Now that it's done, I'm ready to start focusing on some other things. So if you want to see new projects from me, stick around. That's all for this project. I'll catch you on the next one. Where are you going? You go behind the chair? Let me put Chevy in the corner. Let me put Chevy in the corner. Okay.